April 27th, 2026. Today is not an ordinary day. What you are feeling right now, that quiet hum beneath your chest, that restlessness you cannot name, that sense that something enormous has already moved, is not your imagination. Yesterday, Uranus entered Gemini for the first time in 84 years. The portal did not open slowly, it opened completely. And today, this first full day inside that shift, the energy is already moving through you. You are drawn here for a reason. What is coming for the next 7 years has already begun, and your soul knew before your mind did. There is something happening in your mind right now that you may not have a word for yet. It is not anxiety, exactly. It is not excitement, exactly. It is something that lives in the space between those two feelings, a kind of electrical aliveness that will not let you settle, will not let you rest inside a single thought for very long before another one arrives, louder and more urgent than the one before it. You may have noticed it when you tried to sleep. The moment your body became still, your mind did the opposite. Thoughts arrived in waves, not anxious thoughts, not fearful ones, but ideas, visions, fragments of something you cannot quite assemble yet, but that feel unmistakably important. You lay there in the dark, your eyes closed, your body exhausted, and yet some part of you was wide awake and receiving. You may have noticed it during quiet moments in your day, a sudden flash of clarity about something you have been confused about for months, a question rising up from somewhere deep inside you that you have never allowed yourself to ask out loud, a knowing that arrived fully formed, without warning, without a logical path to explain how it got there. This is not overthinking, this is not a restless mind that needs to be calmed or corrected. This is your nervous system responding to one of the most electrically charged planetary shifts of your lifetime. Uranus is the planet of sudden awakening. It governs electricity, revolution, and the lightning-fast transmission of information directly into consciousness. And Gemini is the sign that rules the mind, the way thoughts form, the way information travels, the way human beings process and make meaning out of reality. When these two forces combine, they create a frequency that does not ask permission before entering. It simply arrives. And for those who are energetically sensitive, for those whose systems were already tuned to a higher channel, that arrival is felt immediately, viscerally, and undeniably. You are not broken. You are not losing your mind. You are receiving. The thoughts that will not quiet down are not noise, they are signals. The mind that refuses to rest is not malfunctioning, it is upgrading. Something is being installed inside your consciousness right now that will take weeks, months, and in some cases, years to fully understand. But the download has already begun, and it began the moment Uranus crossed into Gemini and the universe flipped the switch on a new 7-year era of collective and personal mental evolution. There is a reason the ancients called certain people seers, not because they had special powers that others lacked, but because their minds were open enough, still enough in their center, wide enough at their edges to receive what the cosmos was transmitting. You are one of those people. The restlessness in your mind right now is not a problem to solve. It is a transmission to receive. In April the 27th, 2026 is the first day that transmission is coming through in full signal. There is a feeling that has been quietly growing inside you, and it may be difficult to admit because it does not make immediate logical sense. You look at your life, the routines you have built, the spaces you move through every day, the roles you play for the people around you, and something in you does not fully recognize any of it anymore. Not in a frightening way, not in a way that makes you want to run, but in a way that feels like standing in a room you have lived in for years and suddenly noticing that the walls are a different color than you remembered. Everything is technically the same, and yet something fundamental has shifted in how it all feels from the inside. Your morning routine, which once gave you comfort, now feels like a costume you are putting on for someone else. Conversations that used to feel natural now require a kind of effort you cannot explain, as though you are translating yourself into a language that no longer fits your mouth. Places you have always gone, people you have always known, habits you have always kept, all of it carries a faint but unmistakable sense of distance, as though you are watching your own life through glass. You may have asked yourself quietly in your most honest moments whether something is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. What you are experiencing is one of the most profound and least understood symptoms of a major energetic transition. The sensation of outgrowing a timeline while you are still physically standing inside it. Your soul has already moved. Your body and your circumstances simply have not caught up yet. And that gap between where your energy has gone and where your external life still sits is precisely what creates this strange, aching feeling of being a visitor in your own existence. Uranus in Gemini does not make gentle, gradual changes. It does not ease you slowly out of one version of yourself and softly place you into another. It removes the old identity the way a tide removes sand, completely, continuously, and without asking whether you are finished standing there. The self you built during the Uranus and Taurus years, the one shaped by questions of security, material survival, and physical belonging, is being systematically dissolved. And what is rising to take its place does not yet have a name, a face, or a clear outline. That is not cause for fear, that is cause for reverence. Because the souls who feel this dissolution most acutely are the ones being most completely transformed. The stranger you feel inside your old life, the closer you are to the new one that has been waiting for you at the edge of this 7-year threshold. The discomfort of not recognizing yourself is not a sign that you are lost. It is a sign that you have finally, completely begun to be found. April 27th, 2026 is the first full day of that finding, and the life that is coming will not feel foreign to you at all. It will feel like coming home. There is something you have been carrying for a long time that does not have a name. It is not a goal exactly. It is not a dream in the way that dreams are usually described, with clear images and specific outcomes and a logical path from where you are to where you want to be. It is something quieter than that, and at the same time, something far more insistent. A pull, a pressure from the inside that never fully releases. A sense that you are here, on this earth, in this body, in this particular moment of human history, for something that goes beyond what you have been told your life is supposed to look like. You may have felt it most strongly in the moments between tasks, in the silence after a conversation ends, in the early hours of the morning when the world is still and something inside you is anything but. It rises up in those unguarded moments with a quiet urgency that you cannot logic your way out of and cannot quite logic your way into either. It simply is. It has always simply been. And no matter how many times life has pulled your attention elsewhere, it has never fully gone away. That feeling is not a fantasy. It is not wishful thinking dressed up in spiritual language. It is not the ego seeking significance or the mind constructing meaning where there is none. That feeling is your soul recognizing its assignment. In the ancient wisdom traditions that have survived across thousands of years and dozens of civilizations, there has always been an understanding that certain souls arrive in certain moments for specific purposes, that the intersection of a particular consciousness and a particular point in cosmic time is not accidental, but architectural. The universe does not place awakened souls inside pivotal eras by coincidence. It places them there by design, and you are living inside one of the most pivotal eras in recorded human history. Uranus in Gemini governs the revolution of the mind, the complete overhaul of how human beings receive information, construct reality, and communicate truth to one another. The last time this transit occurred, the world was being rebuilt from its foundations. This time, the rebuilding is happening at the level of consciousness itself, and the souls who came in already awake, already sensitive, already carrying that wordless knowing of something larger, those are the souls who were specifically configured to hold frequency during this transition, to be anchors, to be transmitters, to be the ones who do not panic when the old world falls away, because they have always known on some level that falling away was always part of the plan. That knowing you have carried, the one that never left, the one that survived every season of doubt and confusion and distraction, was not given to you by accident. It was given to you because you would need it for exactly this moment. April 27th, 2026 is the day that knowing stops being a private, unnamed feeling living quietly in the center of your chest. It is the day it becomes a calling, and the universe does not issue callings to souls who are not ready to answer them. You have been ready for longer than you know. There is someone you used to talk to every day who you have not reached out to in weeks. There is a group, a circle, an environment that once felt like belonging and now feels like a room where the air has quietly run out. There is a version of your social world that made complete sense to you not so long ago, the conversations that filled your time, the connections that defined your sense of community, the relationships that told you who you were by reflecting a version of you back. And now, without any dramatic confrontation, without any clear moment of ending, something in all of that has simply grown dim. You may have felt guilty about it. You may have told yourself that you are being antisocial or selfish, or that something is wrong with the way you are showing up for the people in your life. You may have forced yourself back into conversations that left you feeling more alone after them than before. You may have smiled through interactions that once fed you and walked away from them quietly hollow, wondering why the nourishment was gone. You are not becoming cold. You are not losing your capacity for love or connection or community. You are experiencing a vibrational reclassification. Every human being operates at a frequency, an energetic signature shaped by their level of consciousness, their emotional patterns, their relationship with truth, and the degree to which they are living in alignment with their soul's actual purpose. When a major planetary shift occurs, especially one as electrically transformative as Uranus entering Gemini, the frequencies of awakened souls do not shift gradually. They shift suddenly, significantly, and the connections that were built on the previous frequency do not always survive the crossing. This is not a punishment. This is not a failure of love or loyalty or effort. This is the universe performing a compassionate but non-negotiable audit of your energetic environment. The connections that are fading were not false, they were real, and they served you, and there is nothing to regret about the time they held. But a soul that is being prepared for a 7-year mission of consciousness expansion cannot afford to remain tethered to environments that were built for a smaller, quieter, less awakened version of who it is becoming. The relationships that drain you now drain you because your frequency has moved beyond what they were designed to match. And the loneliness you feel in those fading connections is not the loneliness of loss. It is the loneliness of transition, the particular ache of standing between one world and another, no longer fully belonging to the one behind you and not yet arrived in the one ahead. Uranus and Gemini will bring new connections. It will bring souls whose frequency matches yours so precisely that the recognition will feel almost startling. Conversations that feel like remembering rather than meeting, communities built around truth rather than comfort, relationships that do not ask you to be smaller in order to fit. But first, the space must be made, and what feels like fading is actually clearing. What feels like loneliness right now is the universe protecting the frequency it spent years carefully building inside you, making sure that what comes next is worthy of who you have become. The right souls are already moving toward you. April 27th, 2026 is the day the signal went out. Something is happening inside your body that goes beyond emotion and beyond thought. It is a physical experience, and yet it does not belong entirely to the physical world. A sensitivity that has arrived without warning and settled into your system like a new permanent resident. Sounds feel slightly louder than they used to. Light catches your attention in ways it never did before. Certain spaces feel heavy the moment you enter them, and certain people leave an energetic residue on your field long after they have gone. Your sleep has changed, deeper in some moments, fractured in others, filled with imagery so vivid and so layered with meaning that you wake not rested, but saturated, as though you spent the night somewhere far more demanding than your bed. Your body itself may feel different. A tingling that moves through your hands or the crown of your head without a medical explanation. A pressure in your chest that is not grief and not fear, but something that sits between the two like a held breath. Moments of sudden warmth that flood through you for no visible reason, followed by a stillness so complete it feels almost sacred. Waves of emotion that arrive without a story attached. Tears that come not from sadness, but from something that feels closer to recognition, closer to relief, as though some part of you that has been waiting for a very long time has finally received the signal it was waiting for. You have perhaps wondered whether something is wrong with you physically. You have perhaps dismissed these sensations as stress or tiredness, or the accumulated weight of a world that has been moving faster than human beings were designed to absorb. But what you are feeling in your body right now is not illness, it is initiation. The physical body is not separate from the energetic field. It is the densest, most visible layer of it, the outermost expression of a system that extends far beyond what the eyes can see. When a shift of this magnitude moves through the energetic field of the planet, the physical body does not remain untouched. It responds, it recalibrates. It begins the slow, sometimes uncomfortable, always purposeful process of restructuring itself to carry a frequency it has never been asked to carry before. Uranus governs the electrical system, both cosmically and biologically. It rules the nervous system, the synaptic pathways, the invisible circuitry that runs beneath every thought, every sensation, every moment of sudden knowing. When Uranus enters a new sign and anchors a new 7-year frequency into the collective field, the bodies of energetically sensitive souls are among the first to register that anchoring. Not because something is being done to you without your consent, but because on the level of the soul, the level that exists beyond conscious memory and linear time, you agreed to be here for exactly this. You agreed to be one of the ones who felt it first. You agreed to be one of the ones who could hold it, transmit it, and help others understand what is moving through the world in this extraordinary, unrepeatable moment. The sensitivity you are experiencing is not a burden. It is a credential. Every wave of emotion that moves through you without a name is a confirmation. Every sleepless night filled with visions is a preparation. Every moment of inexplicable tenderness toward a world that is breaking and rebuilding simultaneously is evidence of the precise kind of consciousness the next 7 years will require. You were not built to be a passive witness to this shift. You were built to be one of its carriers, and on April the 27th, 2026, on this first full day of the most significant planetary era of your lifetime, the rebuilding that has been happening quietly inside you for years has reached its completion point. You are not being broken open, you are being finished. and what the universe has been carefully, patiently constructing inside you through every loss, every awakening, every season of darkness that somehow led you back to the light is finally, completely, gloriously ready. The 7 years ahead do not belong to the world that was. They belong to you.